walking and looking at their cell phones?
Okay. I have mixed feelings about our addiction to cell phones. So I feel that there's a generation who is, I'll say like my mother's age, in their like 60s or so, that like hate cell phones, right? Because they're like taking over the world. Nobody talks to each other, and nobody has good relationships. There's that, but I think there is like a give and take with it. So I can have a conversation with someone in Germany while also talking to someone in California, while also maintaining, if I'm like texting, right, I can also have a physical conversation with someone in the room with me at the same time. And I can multitask those things, I think, pretty effectively as a person who is 28, almost 29, right? There are children who are 15 who can do that 3 times as good as I can. Yeah. And I think that is a plus, and I think that will help them in their multitasking. I think there's a minus when it starts too early. I think if you are like 6, 7 with a cell phone, or the only interaction you have with other humans is through an iPad, that is when we get into a difficult territory. So I think if you can theoretically multitask effectively, I guess is a good word for it, then great, do it, But if you can't walk and look at your phone and maintain like a normal like speech giving, I can still look you in the eye and and look at my notes kind of deal, then you shouldn't look at your phone while you walk. But if you can, then go, more power to you. If you can do 3 things at once, good for you, Okay.
I have this thing where I feel that people my age are keeping up, where everyone else osmotically absorbs this and it becomes part of the fabric of their life.
Yes.
And a lot of people like maybe your mom and people my age, they feel like this has been tacked on to their life unjustly.
One more thing to have to deal with.
Yes,
yeah,
and it's totally. And you don't get it right, and you and it's frustrating, and you also don't want to be embarrassed because you're saying the wrong thing. It's like saying the wrong.
True. I don't fucking even know what Snapchat is, but
I know that Snapchat is actually different now than it was. But when it first started, someone my age was like, "You old perv, this is for kids. Right. Don't you even try to touch this because they're gonna think, what are you doing?"
Right.
And
it's for sending nudes, right? They disappear.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm like, I don't know Grindr. I never did Grindr.
Okay.
No clue.
Yeah.
So
you didn't have to.
I
never had to.
You have to. I never had. Yeah, right. Then it's just not. It's not a priority.
Thing,
it's not something you need.
Yeah.
But so the thing is, that's one. I'm of that mind for this.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, and we were in an Uber not that long ago.
Okay.
And some woman's walking across the street, and she's obviously over 50.
Yeah.
Right. She's walking across. We're coming up 6th Avenue at 23rd Street. We turn just to come home, and the woman stops in the middle of 23rd Street and 6th Avenue, right in the middle, and she takes out her phone and stops.
Yeah.
And starts. You couldn't actually just make it one go. You had to stop in the middle of the street.
Right.
Really, in the middle of the intersection.
What are you doing? Yeah.
What? And then she wasn't 15.
Like a different issue. Yeah.
Right. And you're looking, going, wow, because you see these kids do this stuff, and also it's embarrassing because one of the things that we do forget about this. When people my age have a discussion, and we do this all the time, you forget something, and you're like, what was the name of that again?
Yes.
And you're like, oh, well, and meanwhile, the kid is 15 is like, boom, boom, there you go.
Yes.
And you go, oh, yeah, that's right. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
And we used to commit things to memory.
Absolutely.
And we feel like it's cheating, or just that it never occurs to you to just pick up your phone and look. And now when you do, everyone goes, smart ass. But I mean, that's how everyone. So,
but we sit and watch a movie, and I can look up during the movie. I can still maintain a focus on the movie. I can look up and see like what that actress did. Other than that, it's like a whole different. Which I think is a positive. I also grew up without a cell phone until I was 15. Which I guess, I think that's a good age to get a cell phone. And I guess it's too old now, but people have one at 8 and 10, and they call it a safety issue. But who needs a phone at 10 for safety? But whatever. I don't know. I had mixed issues on it because my mom sent me this video the other day. It was like a guy giving a lecture that was like just condemning our society for being so dependent upon these things that we hold. And apparently he was like, if you sit down at a meal with somebody and you put this on the table, you're automatically saying that this is more important than the conversation I'm having with you, which I do not find to be true. Maybe someone I don't know how old he was, and I don't really remember. I feel like it's like 40, 50, whatever. Maybe someone of that age group thinks that because it wasn't something that always was on the table.
Yes.
And you've resented it, sure. But I never think the people who he was also saying that like if you are walking and you like shake somebody's hand, but you like put your phone back in your hand and hold it, you're automatically saying that like this is priority over the conversation, which is not true in my mind. I would never like, I don't know, even if I do check a text message, it has nothing to do with like, I don't know, maybe it's a different perspective on things, but.
The only other thing I'll say is in the early 90s when cell phones were,
and they were like this big.
they were bricks,
yes.
right? And they had a little green screen that was about 2 inches,
like
right?
Snake on it.
I worked at a restaurant called the Village Atelier,
okay,
right? Which is on was on Hudson Street and Morton Street. It was right across the street, on the same side of Hudson, right across from Henrietta Hudson's lesbian bar, right? And it was pretty nice place, and we used to have our fair share of very well-to-do people and celebrities, and it was
Village,
and it was a very nice restaurant. So anytime someone would come in with the brick, they put it on the table in the middle of the table, and you could hear people's eyes rolling. Oh, how pretentious can you possibly be, right? And that became a thing that faded. You know what really changed every single thing?
What?
9/11.
Is that right?
When people felt the need for immediacy, especially if there was something wrong,
had to call. Yep.
It changed everything. But the proximity and the urgency and the immediacy, especially if there was an issue, a problem, and everybody felt that, and then all of a sudden that changes the way people felt be connected. And now, this is the weird thing to me is, it was the emergency and the urgency and the immediacy to be connected. And now all you hear about is people saying that we're so disconnected, but they're not. And that's the exact weird opposite thing. Yeah. The perception is the exact opposite.
That's the thing. Like, we lost all these face-to-face relationships. Why are you losing what are you talking about? We still talk to each other. I have no idea what that means when they say that we are losing face-to-face relationships. Really? Because I'm talking to you currently. Like, my phone's been here. Have you felt that I've been not, engaged? No. So I don't. It's just it's a weird. It's like just complaining to complain about the process, having to adapt,
And how many people who I lost touch with for years?
That's the other thing. My mom has Facebook and she lives on it.
Yes, and
she's on Facebook every day more than I am.
And you're right in touch, step to step with everybody. You know everything about everybody now. Everybody shares, and you see
what they want you to know.
But they share.
Still,
look, people didn't have this level of intimacy. I posted something not that long ago. One statement means so many different things. Means two different, exact opposite thing.
Sure.
Pre and post social media.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Right? True.
Right?
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because nobody wanted. People wanted their privacy.
Nobody.
And you only got to see what you want.
Right.
Now we overshare so much, and they're like, "How come you're not following me?"
Right.
Right.
How am I going to know what you're doing?
And everybody does it on their phone.
Weird, yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people, people when they're enjoying each other's company or letting everyone else know about, or they're recording it, and you go, and there's very many ways you can say they're enjoying each other's company, from being in a restaurant or being intimate or however you want to say.
Yeah,
but people record all this stuff, and it's an incredible. And I don't know who they're sharing it with, but I mean, I do it all the time. I have. A huge following on Google Maps with over 1 million views.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I do
Google
that,
Maps.
and I have this. I just posted the other day. I got downloaded and I'm so proud of this. I got downloaded in Japan.
Oh my God.
The Philippines, Australia,
awesome.
India, Slovenia, Austria, the Netherlands, Germany.
What?
Cool. Argentina, Uruguay.
Oh my God.
Denmark,
global
the
brand.
Netherlands. It's amazing, right? And
really cool.
And the UK, Ireland, Canada, and the US.
Nice.
And I could not imagine having this. And people tell me all the time, they put on their head, they put in earbuds, and they'll go for a walk and they'll listen to a podcast.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh yeah.
I see it all the time, and I think, why do people think they need to stay connected to that extent all the time with other people? I don't get it, frankly. What's so important that it can't wait? And there aren't many things in my life that I feel the urgency to talk to somebody about all the time. So I don't like to spend a lot of time on the phone, period. But to walk across the street in traffic talking on the cell phone is beyond me. I don't get it.
It's funny as I was just telling, I've told the last two people I've interviewed, asking the same question. And we were coming home someplace up Gangnam 6th Avenue, right around the corner from here on 23rd Street. And we were in an Uber. And as we were the driver was attempting to make the light,
Yeah.
he laughed as we all laughed. There was a woman, easily 50.
Yeah.
No kids. It wasn't like a 16-year-old kid who, you would expect them to be addicted to this. She stopped in the middle of the intersection, took out her phone, and then started talking as if she couldn't wait the other 5 steps. We just don't understand where it came from. But it's
in all my days of practicing medicine, I never felt the urgency of a phone call to that extent that I need to take it at that very moment. There was always an opportunity to delay it. I just don't. I don't get it.
Yep.
Ooh, I have a little bit of I have a good perspective on this because, like I said, I have sidewalk rage, and so I hate people walking up the subway stairs. They'll just stop in the middle, and I'm sure it's important to them at the time. Get the fuck at the top of the stairs. Like, what are you doing?
Yes,
Do you not see these other people behind or around you? However,
careless.
As I've mentioned before, I really love playing video games, and my wonderful fiance Quinn, she'll play some games with me too, but she's introduced me into Pokemon, and they have this Pokemon game on the smartphones. It's called Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
And you can walk around and really catch them around the city. And
we've actually sat and watched on Madison Square Park watching whole groups of people when it first came. It was a craze.
Yeah.
So we just sit there and at night.
It's the rare one. I gotta go get it. It's my only chance.
So many people and people escorting groups of kids.
Yes.
Because it's at dark and it has to be a parent anyway.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there going, how many people are doing this damn thing? I mean, just
I'm one of them.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a thing.
It's fun. It's there are some. We're in a Facebook group around Woodside too, and there's some people who do it every hour. They must work out at home or something, because they don't do anything else besides do that Pokemon Go game. Yeah, they're let's meet at this gym at the corner of Skillman and 43rd, and we'll take down this Mewtwo because it's a level 5, and we need people to get it down. Exactly, whatever.
Sure.
It's fun. The characters are charming. They're all really cute and endearing, and it's fun. And I don't really spend any real money on it or anything, but I am guilty of being on my phone walking around because of that too. But I think I'm conscious of other people. I'll pull over to the side. I know that, this is New York City and people need to walk to where they're going. So people walking with your phones, I'd say learn how to do it the right way. And that's the way that I do it.
That's right, man. That's exactly right. The thing, you see people walking up the subway stairs, looking at the phone, and oh, you're so important. Because if you were so important, you'd be in a limousine.
Right.
You
wouldn't
be walking on the subway
right.
trying to get to your big business meeting. Put that down for 5 seconds until you just get out of the way.
Yeah.
There are 60,000 other people here right now with you. You think you just make life easier for them just a little bit?
Man, you're not the only one here. Right.
It's karma, baby. What goes around comes around.
Yeah. I do like watching when someone's on their phone and they walk into a street post or something like that.
I'm telling you. At lunchtime.
Not badly injured, but just oh, come on, back to
or they
reality.
get indignant.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've seen, Midtown. I worked in Midtown for many years, and on Broadway in the upper 30s, lower 40s, just before 42nd Street, you'd see these people. And I just cannot fathom how you have this sublime self-confidence to look at this phone and not pay attention as you're walking in an intersection or going through a doorway or turnstiles or on an escalator, and you think you walk on air or something. Sooner or later, or someone's going to take advantage of you,
Right.
hit you
You're
over the
gonna get
head.
mugged.
Yes,
Right. Exactly.
regardless of how many cameras there are around, what you have on your phone, you're still you're a sitting duck if you don't pay attention to what's going on around you.
Absolutely.
So that goes back to my dad, because we used to come into the city once in a while, and 6 kids, and my father would always just shepherd us out of the way, because there's always some guy who would come up to you, seeing a guy with his wife and 6 kids, begging for money, panhandling, or I don't know if you've ever seen Johnny T's Tips for New York. It was Glove and Boots, the puppet thing.
I think so.
Really funny. But he
Yeah.
said, "Get out of the way." The whole thing. And he says, if a homeless guy, and they show some guy standing there and he's all scraggy and greasy, and he's dragging like a blanket or a sheet or something. Do you really want to make physical contact with that person? Because now it's going to be on you. It's not going to come off your clothes. You're going to smell bad.
Mm-hmm.
And
A
there's
little souvenir.
and they may, like on 30 Rock, where someone spit in Liz Lemon's mouth. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I can't remember. I love 30
She,
Rock. but I can't
she
remember.
had a thing where some guy, she's talking and some guy just spits in her mouth and keeps it going. And it's just because you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
She was having a conversation with so many of these people. I just can't understand how this became, especially when there's someone who is definitely not a child anymore. If there's one thing, if you're a young adult and this is your first job and you've grown up with these things surgically attached to your hands.
Right.
But if you're an adult, you're over 40 years old, you've had to adapt to this, and suddenly everything becomes so engrossing. And also in restaurants, we see now people just ignore everything in the real world.
Yeah.
They don't want to know anything about you. They pay no attention to anything that goes on other than what's in front of them.
Right. You bring a plate and the table's covered
They
with
don't
stuff.
talk. They don't walk. They don't
whatever.
say. Yeah, the hands go like this. Like all of a sudden they're Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah. So that's anything else you'd like to add to to walking with cell phones or mobile devices?
It's that screen dependency syndrome. It's volatile. It's toxic. I'm guilty of it myself,
Yeah.
but it's hard. You want to feel connected, and it's an easy way to do that. And you can, on your Facebook, this is who I like. This is the news feed I want. This is the news feed I don't. You can shape your own reality to some degree, and it's not healthy, but I do it.
Yeah.
And it's easy to throw stones.
I tell the story when Bruce and I were first going out, first dating, way back in 1991. People did not have cell phones.
Sure.
They started showing up in the 90s. That was one thing, but also because people didn't have them, you'd go to a bar and you wait online to use the phone, the pay phone, and there'd be 10, 15 people, and they'd go, "Come on, man, hurry up!" And somebody would just wave you off or just blow you off, or but there'd be a whole lot of people, and you'd make small talk with someone next to you, or if you had to go someplace, triangulating, meeting people,
Oh my gosh.
was a very different animal in those days.
Right.
And if someone didn't show, you couldn't just call them.
Right.
Where was the last place they called from? Did they call from their office? Were they at a payphone? Were they at their home? You didn't have a mobile device to carry with you, so you couldn't be in constant communication. You weren't texting with someone, I'm a 49th and Lex. Like, nah.
Right.
No, that's,
now, if you have a family program, you can track them from your phone. If
Yeah.
you want to, yeah.
especially if you're a parent. But that's
Right.
something that, and we do Life 360. We do that all the time. But
We do Uber ride check-in.
Okay, yeah, so we have that as well. Yeah, so, yeah, we do that as well too. And you see that as being something. There's a little value to that.
On the other hand, I can't imagine how people got around the city without.
Oh, that was the
a
idea.
smartphone.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was also if you went on a date with somebody, if you went out, you met somebody. People were a lot more pleasant. Now they look at each other. It's like you're done in 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
And you would actually go out and meet somebody. First of all, people were a whole lot less. I'd say they were a whole lot less judgmental, and it wasn't like you were vicious about it, or they are now. They're not like they're vicious about it. It's just that they have so many options. They just don't. It's not that a big a deal. But when you met somebody before, you go out, you try to make the best of it. You know.
Sure.
So if you'd find something, you'd try to talk to somebody for about an hour or so, and then at the end of the evening, it might be a short date, maybe 2 hours, but you gave it a go,
Right.
And then okay, well, I'll see you around, because that's over or whatever it was going to be. But it was a whole lot different then than it is now, where especially in the gay world, where you look at people who, I've seen this so many times, and I literally am amazed when you go out and people and the whole people will take their, like a guy will take his fruit fly or his hag with him, and
fruit fly. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, if a fag hag is a fruit fly, well, same thing.
It's nicer, I think.
Yeah, and they'll meet somebody and they make the decision within like a couple of breaths, and then they no, and they just walk away and they'll turn their back on them, or there's another thing that they would do. They do. I'm amazed at the immediacy of all this. People just make their minds up
It's here
really,
and now,
really quickly.
Right. It's what else is out there.
And it's all because of this thing that's in their hand. I remember my boss at NBC. This is about 7 years ago, maybe even 9 years ago, talking about pretty much a visionary. He is talking about that this is going to be something. This thing that people are going to walk around with in their hands. It's going to make all the decisions for them, and they're going to be attached to this, and they're looking at this without looking at anything else. And he wasn't even an early adopter. He was before. There was like a pioneer. He sought these things out, and he pretty much had a beat on this a long time ago. And he talked about this in great length, just in a casual conversation. He was 100% correct.
Yeah.
But people are so addicted to these things.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that you the other thing, the Tinder thing is around the corner on 24th Street. There's a Hampton Court Hotel. I think it's a Hampton something. And I used to go, and now I don't know if you know how many hotels there are. And it's astonishing how many hotels there are. I can't believe how many hotels there are on 24th Street alone. There's one being built. There's another one being built that's butting onto 24th Street, and building on the corner on 24th is part hotel and part apartment building, and there's so many of them. There are just so many of them. So I can't reconcile why there's so many of these things these places. So I quite often I'll go on do other chores and go to shop at either the Fairway over there on 6th Avenue and between 25th and 26th, and I'll cut down 24th. Walking down a block, and I'm seeing all these people standing outside this hotel, and they're staring at me and they're looking at the phone. That's weird about this. And, being married for a long time, I'm totally oblivious to the fact that, it took me forever to realize, they're all trying to see if you're the Tinder person that they're supposed to hook up with. Because these are all using as the Hot Sheets hotels.
There you
right,
go.
Because it's a Hot Sheets.
Wow.
And there's some, I'm going, is there that many Hot Sheet hotels around here?
About that?
But apparently there are plenty.
I like the circles you draw, my friend.